Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to today's Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're here because today we're unpacking one of the most elegant concepts in all of mathematics. Now, if you've ever taken a calculus class, you probably remember that very specific, maybe slightly traumatic moment when you're working through a limit problem, you're following all the correct logical steps, and suddenly the numbers just completely break down on you. Well, today, we are demystifying L'Hopital's rule to see exactly how mathematicians handle things when equations simply refuse to cooperate. So, what do you actually do when math just gives up? It sounds kind of impossible, right? I mean, we're taught that math is this universal language of logic built on absolute certainty. But as anyone who enjoys diving into calculus knows, there are these specific moments when calculating certain limits produces a result that is frankly mathematically meaningless. You hit a total brick wall. You do all the algebraic work, you follow the operations perfectly, and you arrive at a destination that just doesn't make any logical sense whatsoever. Yup, this is the ultimate roadblock. 0 divided by 0. Good old 0 over 0. When you're working with limits, evaluating a function at a certain point can sometimes leave you staring at this exact, totally frustrating fraction. Direct substitution gives you this completely indeterminate, unresolved mess. It feels like a dead end. But here's the thing. In the world of advanced mathematics, a hurdle like this isn't a dead end at all. It's actually an invitation to look just a little bit closer. Our source material frames this perfectly, saying rather than giving up, mathematicians found an elegant workaround using derivatives. I absolutely love this framing. We don't just abandon the problem when we get an undefined 0 over 0 result. No way. Instead, a hero enters the story, and that hero is the derivative. Derivatives provide this brilliant, incredibly elegant pathway straight through the mathematical roadblock. They allow us to bypass that meaningless algebraic result and find the actual truth that's hidden deep inside the equation. And the solution? Enter L'Hopital's rule. Here's the deal. It states that for limits resulting in indeterminate forms, the limit of a ratio of two functions is simply equal to the limit of the ratio of their derivatives. Just think about that for a second. We have a ratio, right? A fraction with a numerator on top and a denominator on the bottom. If taking the limit of that ratio fails us, we don't need to panic. We just take the derivative of the top, take the derivative of the bottom separately, and try the limit again. It is incredibly powerful in its raw simplicity. Now, quick heads up, this isn't some magic wand you can just wave over any math problem. There are crucial conditions you have to meet before you can deploy it. First, L'Hopital's rule strictly requires those tricky indeterminate forms to work. Specifically situations where you end up with 0 over 0 or infinity over infinity. If you don't have those exact forms, you cannot use the rule. Second, and this is a really important one to remember, after you take those derivatives, that second limit must actually exist. But provided that second limit does exist, the rule holds true and you are completely mathematically in the clear. All right, we've got the formula down, but you're probably asking yourself, why does this intuitively make sense? Because it's one thing to memorize a rule for a test, but it's another thing entirely to really understand the why behind it. Why does taking the derivative of the numerator and the denominator separately just magically fix our 0 over 0 problem? Well, let's peel back the layers of these numbers and look at the underlying mechanics. When direct substitution fails and spits out an undefined 0 over 0, it usually just means both the numerator function and the denominator function are approaching their limits at comparable rates. They are both basically racing toward 0 together, and standard substitution simply throws its hands up because it literally can't tell them apart. It just sees two zeros. But by taking the derivatives separately, the actual truth is revealed. We shift from looking at static, frozen positions to looking at dynamic movement. By using L'Hopital's rule, what we're really doing is uncovering the true relative rates of change near that specific point. Imagine the top function and the bottom function are in a dead sprint. By taking the derivative of each separately, we are essentially zooming in with a magnifying glass to check their exact speed, their relative rates of change, right at the finish line. We're asking who is actually getting to 0 faster, and by exactly how much. This brilliant shift in perspective often resolves the otherwise undefined limit into a perfectly clear, calculable answer. To really cement this, let's look at some primary evidence. Consider the absolute classic roadblock you will invariably encounter in calculus, evaluating the limit of the sine of x divided by x as x approaches 0. It looks innocent enough, right? But if you've studied calculus, you know this specific setup is famous for causing major headaches. It totally defies basic algebra, which makes it the perfect candidate to prove exactly how satisfying our rule is in action. Let's walk through it step by step. First, we try our standard direct substitution. We plug in x equals 0. The sine of 0 is 0, and the bottom is just 0. The result? 0 over 0. It's perfectly indeterminate. So we move to step 2 and apply L'Hopital's rule. We take the derivative of both the numerator and the denominator completely independently. The derivative of sine of x is cosine of x. The derivative of x is simply 1. Now we arrive at step 3, resolve the limit. We evaluate the new limit of cosine of x over 1 as x approaches 0. The cosine of 0 is 1, and 1 divided by 1 is exactly 1. Boom. That beautifully simple final answer immediately resolves the mathematical tension of that impossible fraction. By comparing their rates of change through derivatives, L'Hopital's rule just cuts right through the nonsense of the indeterminate form and hands us our clear, calculable answer of exactly 1. It takes something that seemed totally broken and elegantly fixes it. Now, a totally fair question to ask at this point is, why does this matter outside the math classroom? It's a neat trick for passing a calculus exam, sure, but how does this abstract mathematical workaround actually apply to tangible reality? Well, let's take a look at where this rule actually lives in the real world, because I promise you, it doesn't just sit in textbooks gathering dust. The applications are actually massive and incredibly practical. Over in physics and engineering, professionals use L'Hopital's rule to analyze limiting behavior in highly complex equations, specifically those describing physical motion, population, or material growth and radioactive decay. When a physical system approaches a critical boundary, direct calculation often just fails, and this rule literally saves the day. And in economics, the rule is absolutely essential for evaluating marginal rates and making intricate elasticity calculations. When real-world economic models get pushed to their absolute limits and start returning those pesky indeterminate forms, this rule is what professionals rely on to find the actual physical reality. Ultimately, L'Hopital's rule is a universal tool used throughout all of calculus. It's the definitive go-to mechanism. Wherever and whenever direct substitution into a limit produces an indeterminate, unresolved result, we know exactly what to do. We don't give up. We look at the rates of change. We take the derivatives of the top and bottom separately, and we find our answer with absolute confidence. So L'Hopital's rule brilliantly resolves tricky limits by comparing rates of change. But, all this talk of derivatives and slopes naturally brings up another really fascinating mathematical mystery. What actually guarantees that a continuous function has a point where its exact instantaneous slope perfectly matches its average rate of change over a given distance? Well, the answer to that bold question is the mean value theorem, and that is exactly what we're going to be diving into in our next explainer. Thank you so much for joining me today to demystify L'Hopital's rule. I really hope this conceptual journey helps clarify just how elegant and powerful mathematics can be when it simply refuses to give up. Keep analyzing those rates of change, and I will see you in the next explainer.